In this video, we're going to look at how you could use JSON files to create attribute configurations in the PIM. This should only be really for developers who, either administer the PIM or somebody with some technical knowledge. Generally, within the PIM, what you've done is you can create configurations where you only want specific fields with your own labels to appear on a particular page. So here's one for antennas. So you can manually do these. We've covered that in another video, but basically what we're doing here is these are associated with, these are the only fields that will appear when these products come up with these categories. So it's only these fields that will appear with these titles on those pages, view or edit pages. But there's a lot. This is really a one-off setup, so you can obviously use the edit facilities to set these up. We've covered that elsewhere. But if you've got a lot, and you're right at the start of the process, this is a process to either just configure a JSON file externally and just import them, or copy them into this field here, or you could actually just import them. And we're going to be covering the import route now. So what we need to do is build an import file, which is as per method 1. Then we're just going to the admin section within the attribute configurator. We're selecting import. We're creating these fields. We're mapping them all using a saved map, and basically we're creating this. So the first method is where you could just create the JSON field and copy it in. The second method is you can create a field and import it in directly. So just to show you the field itself, a few points. So this is the field that we're looking where we're going to be using imports. So we've got a config name. So this could be anything: furniture, antennas, whatever you want to call it. The second point is quite important. You're associating. You can associate it with one or more categories. So if I just go on to this, so I've got a category set up as best test A. These are parent categories that I've set up. That's their IDs. You will need the ID or the external reference as part of this import, because you need to have set up the product categories first. And what you're saying is that this configuration is actually the one that's going to be used by these product categories. I'll show you that in a minute. It's not the default. It's not going to be the default template that you've created right at the front end, and you need the config file imported into the system. So if we navigate to the categories, the category list, just to show you how we get the ID or whatever of this category, we're basically looking for best test and best test A as our imports to have this particular attribute configuration set. So just to show you what we're actually doing, if I go into a product here, here's the attributes that are currently showing. This is not what I want them to be. I want them to be a specific set. So effectively what we're doing is setting up these pages and also the edit page here with those categories. So to find the category ID, just go to category list, because you would have set these up. You could import them, export them, but it's this number that you're really looking for. The best name, and then we've got our best test A. So it's the ID that needs to be in this file as part of the import, because that's the lookup. So you do need to get that as part of this particular import. In terms of setting the configuration JSON, it needs to be on one line. So obviously you've got a square bracket to start it. You know, you've got comments separated and you've got a closed bracket at the end with no comma for the last item, but I've covered that in another video. So what we next do is we're just going to come into, we're going to use this file as our import. So we're just going to go there now. So we navigate back to the PIM, go to the product attribute admin, go to the product attribute configuration. What we want to do is, you know, go to imports. We're going to be creating a new configuration. So we're just basically finding the file. So it's our import attribute config, which is what I've just shown you. We're not really interested in this unless we were updating existing ones and using this method, using the import method. Next, we're going to come to a map. Now, I could have saved this map, so I don't know if I've got a save map here. No, so I haven't got a save map at this moment. We need to, so basically this is mapped to the columns in our file. So column A is the config name, column B is the product categories, which we separated with a pipe or a comma, because we're going to update more than one categories to use this configuration. This is obviously the JSON, the file itself in a row, and this is the name that we're going to give the system. Here we're using as the unique identifier the product categories that we've got in that file as an ID, and we're just pressing normal. And basically we could save this map for future reference, so just to show you that. So this is import, so I'll just give it a name, import attributes configs. We just date it because I always seem to do that for myself. So what it means is we can actually use this map if we're using this method, so we don't have to using the same template. We just, you know, automatically will bring this map up if we choose it and map the columns. You must never change the columns in the template because the import routines work on columns, even though obviously it's best to keep the same naming conventions, but you don't have to. It's recognizing the comments in the map. So if we just submit it, that's actually now queued and completed. So I'll get an email back when that happens. So now if I just go into the configuration itself, which is here, there's my example configuration that I've just created. There's my product categories that it's created itself. If we just edit that so you can actually see what we've done. So it's already just created all of the information that I wanted. It's got my particular titles, which I've changed to be part of this configuration. If I just go back into that, under systems info, that's where it's imported the config JSON file, and it's allocated it to these categories here, which you can see. If I just show you how it looks with the product now, so clicking through, let's see if there's any child products. Yeah, there's my test. So going into test and I go under attributes, you can see now that only those fields that appear on the page are here now. And if I go into the edit attribute box, again, you can see only those fields are now showing. So this is how you can use the product attribute viewer. You can use a JSON file to achieve a lot of imports.